Hello, everyone. I am Gertrude Sachekar. As a professional, I have the best of two worlds. On one hand, more than 20 years of experience in the financial industry, and on the other, the skills and superpowers of an associate certified coach. I specialize in leadership, emotional intelligence, and positive intelligence. Today, we are going to talk about how to transition after a promotion. I'll start with an introduction, then the tips to transition into the new role, and then the key takeaways. One of the most satisfying feelings at work is when we get promoted. We feel pride, a sense of finally being recognized for our effort. Until our boss puts more on our plate, expectations are higher, and potentially we are now our peer's boss. This last one could result in one of two ways, usually. Peers are relieved that they will have a leader they know, or they are jealous because at least one of them wanted the position and didn't get it. I have been on both sides of that equation. The first time I was promoted in the job I already had, my peers who suddenly became my direct reports were very happy. In the second scenario, it happened to me. I applied for a job, didn't get it, and instead gained a new boss. None of us handled the situation appropriately, but I will speak for myself. I was hurt. I believed I was ready for that promotion, and I was not. I had been killing myself at that job, so I felt unrecognized. On top of everything, they hired someone from outside the company. That made me angry. And I had to teach him what he needed to know. It was so unfair. So I reacted the way most people do. I did the minimum I could without getting in trouble. I want to believe that in time I would have come around, but I will never know because shortly after that change, I moved to another department. The next time I was promoted, I received mixed reactions from the team. Some were happy I was their new manager, some were neutral, and one or two reacted in the same way I did when I got a new boss. And at that moment, I was so glad to have gone through that experience because it gave me wisdom to not make the same mistakes. So how can we effectively transition into this more senior role? Accept the fact that relationships must change. This is one of the most difficult and challenging principles to adopt, especially when we are relatively new in our career or if the team is tight and cohesive. We can no longer engage in the same type of conversations as before. As the boss, we can no longer talk about our frustrations or challenges with our direct reports. We are now leading them, and we set the tone and the example. Also, there is information at the new level that we manage but cannot divulge. We need to redraw the boundaries. Of course, we want to maintain a friendly, positive, personal, and professional relationship with our team. And at the same time, we are the ones evaluating them and setting expectations. There is a hierarchy, and at some point, we may need to give someone the pink slip if their position is eliminated. Not everyone will understand, accept, or like our decisions, and we must find a way to be comfortable with that. Do something symbolic to mark the transition. When we get promoted, there's usually an email from the boss letting the entire team know the good news. Maybe there is a small celebration, and then it's business as usual. Humans need some sort of rite or ritual to mentally and sometimes physically transition from point A to point B. We have big and at times costly ceremonies to transition from fiancé to spouse, or from student to professional, or from child to adult. One of the best advices I received from one of my mentors when I was promoted to a senior role I already had was that my job was not the same. And that was eye-opening. Before that conversation, I was doing my day-to-day work as if I were in the prior level. I had to first internalize I was at a different position. now competing with peers who had been at that level much longer. The expectations of me as a leader had increased too. This rite of passage doesn't have to be anything elaborated. It could be something simple like wearing different shoes or clothes, not attending certain meetings anymore because you'll delegate them, or, I don't know, rearranging your desk. Give people time and space to readjust. It is very possible that other members of your new team also wanted the job you now have. They feel they are equally or more qualified than you are. Depending on their attitude, the imposter syndrome could start rearing its ugly head. I would be mindful of mentioning the elephant in the room, saying things like, I know you applied for the job. When I didn't get the promotion I thought I deserved, this newly hired manager said that to me. And his comment made me feel angrier and powerless. And as a result, I lost all interest or motivation in his success. If the person who didn't get the job is truly talented, consider making that person your number two. So when you move on, he or she is ready and/or they can go to another area for that promotion. If your interest to help them be successful is real, most people will respond in kind. Do not take things personally. When one of my friends got promoted, one of her peers turned team member gave her a hard time. Later, my friend found that this woman was going through a divorce. She wasn't being difficult because my friend got the job. She was overwhelmed with so many changes happening at once in her life. Assert yourself. I have noticed that most people do not like making decisions. They are afraid that they will make a mistake or they don't have enough information. But they also don't like being left out of the decision-making process. I think there is space to have both, to consult with your team, especially for complex topics, and then make a decision of what direction you're going to take. I like having a rationale for my decisions. I don't do it in I need to explain myself manner. I do it because one, I want to articulate my thought process and confirm that I'm not overlooking anything important for that decision. Second, I want to teach by example and show my decision process to the team so they can use it as is or adapt it to their style in the future. And then the third is I want to assure the team by building trust, showing them that I'm not making decisions carelessly and that I take their input into consideration. And when I don't, I also tell them. People don't always agree with me, but most of the time they can see my point of view and respect it. And often they see that something is fair or necessary, even if they disagree. Last but not least, focus on what is best for the team and the organization. People can smell self-interest a mile away. Make sure you are consistent and relentless in showing that your direction is aligned with the overall group and company goals, vision, and mission. Otherwise, people will perceive that you want to use them for your own career advancement. And you will lose and gain support, but not necessarily from the people you want. Change is challenging because our brain, that is programmed to keep us safe, equates different to dangerous. So the faster we can move from the unknown to the familiar, the faster we will trick our brain into embracing the change. And also remember that any event is or can be converted into a gift and opportunity, regardless of the results. Be proud of yourself and celebrate this accomplishment. You earned it. You deserve it. You know how to learn new things, who to call when you have questions. You'll figure things out. Create abundance for your teammates now that you are in a position of having more influence. In a way, you have the best of both worlds. First-hand knowledge of the challenges and pain points the team has, and the position to do something about it. Or at the very least, let people with more power and influence know what the team faces day in and day out. Your mission as the leader is to draw people's motivations, create a safe environment, and help others realize and fulfill their potential, so all of you can achieve amazing goals in and out of work. What is your experience with new bosses or when you are the new boss? Please let us know in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Please include your responses in the comments. And for more content, remember to subscribe to my channel. See you again soon.